Hi folks, so what I'm doing at the moment is I'm looking at the horoscope of one or two countries, and I'm looking at the horoscope of New Zealand, bearing in mind that there's an election there this coming weekend. So, New Zealand, how do you do a horoscope of a country? Well, the theory goes that the country is born at the moment that the latest state of Declaration of Independence or Declaration of Statehood, or when the legislature bangs the gavel and a new form of political congress develops, the latest moment of country's birth is taken as the horoscope. And with New Zealand, New Zealand actually came into being as a legitimate country in the eyes of the world, or at least the British Empire as it was at the time, at 00 hours on the 26th of September 1907 in Wellington. Now, the reason I'm focusing on the New Zealand chart is because there's an election and there's likely to be quite a furore about it. This is replicated in New Zealand's chart. New Zealand is Libra with Gemini rising, Moon in Taurus. Much of the time, New Zealand's horoscope is actually, without wishing to be disrespectful or rude, it's not exciting. It's steady, consistent, stable, to some people's eyes a little bit boring, but it's one of those horoscopes that's steady, stable, solid, reliable, but every so often, very rarely, it gets flaky. New Zealand was born with a strong Mercury-Neptune square. So when it comes to public image, promoting oneself into the outside world, it's never going to be quite as good as other countries. And the problem is that at this time, over the whole of this year and next, Pluto in the sky squaring New Zealand's Mercury, and this year, Uranus in the sky is opposite New Zealand's Mercury. Normally I wouldn't be bothered by this, but Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, which is New Zealand's ascendant. Therefore, it is the chart ruler. Perhaps having Gemini rising is very fitting, considering there's two equally sized large islands. And I wonder if another name for these two islands instead of North and South should be Pollux and Castor. Nevertheless, with Uranus opposite the chart ruler and Pluto coming up to square the chart ruler next year, it seems to me that New Zealand is just about to head into a year and a half of major political turmoil. There are rumours that one or two of the more nefarious characters in the world, such as Julian Assange and Kim.com, are about to spring a surprise on the New Zealand electorate by releasing some facts around the dirty tricks that's going on in this election. If so, that wouldn't surprise me. The nature of Uranus opposite Mercury is dramatic, sudden new information coming in that upsets the apple cart. And you can be sure that the election that's coming up this coming weekend will not be the final chapter. There will be, I'm not suggesting there's going to be irregularities, but I can see another rerun, or I can see further developments in the New Zealand political spectrum within a year of this election. This is not going to be the be-all and end-all. And in many ways, I do anticipate the New Zealand entire constitution perhaps being rewritten in the coming couple of years to make sure that there's no type of room for some of the, not so much fraud, but some of the discrepancies that I suspect are about to come to light. It does seem as if there's been a degree of underhandedness. The chart of New Zealand's horoscope suggests that there's always going to be in the background the capacity for shadowy figures. Saturn retrograde square Pluto standing still in the first house. New Zealand itself will never be able to completely trust all of its hierarchy because there's always going to be one or two rotten apples who are going to seek to have all the money and all the power and all the fame for themselves. And that's probably because they're old men with little willies, but that's the way it is in all political patriarchal establishments. Personally, I think New Zealand's one of the most forward-looking countries in the world. Personally, I think that they should be leading the way when it comes to the new values that are going to permeate the 21st and 22nd century. I would love to see New Zealand as one of those places which is effectively run by women, and also run by indigenous locals. It seems that New Zealand's on the point of some type of social, not unrest, but re-evolution. And it's not just going to happen this coming Saturday either. It's going to be over the next year, year and a half. So I do anticipate changes. If you're living in New Zealand now, what a time. You're entering a year and a half of craziness. And at the end of the day, you're going to end up with probably a new constitution. At least it's not boring. Catch you later. Bye.